Lions enjoy a win streak in midseason. Well, after upsetting McNeese State to gain a national ranking early in the season, the Lions ran into a stone wall in Southland Conference play, losing to Texas State and Sam Houston. But the Lions turned to their high-powered aerial attack and an improved defense to make a run in the win column. It started at home against Mississippi Valley. Let's take a look. It seemed like Southeastern was starting a trend. Begin the game slowly and then turn it on in the second half. That's what happened in the fifth game of the season against Mississippi Valley. The Delta Devils kicked a field goal on their opening possession before the Lions countered quickly. Ray Perkins, a leading rusher this season, added some excitement on the special teams. He returned the ensuing kickoff 94 yards to give Southeastern a 7-3 lead with 10:44 remaining in the first quarter. The Delta Devils reclaimed the lead at 10-7 when John Pierre Marshall blocked a Jim Hall punt at the line 38 and Jamelia Brown recovered in the end zone. Curtis Kemp added a 1-yard touchdown run for a 17-7 Mississippi Valley lead at halftime. But the Lions woke up in the second half with 26 unanswered points. Perkins, who had 154 all-purpose yards in the game, ran for a 5-yard touchdown in the opening drive of the third quarter to cut the lead to 17-14. Little did the Delta Devils know it, but the Lions would deliver the knockout punch with a 24-point swing in the third quarter alone. Just 2 minutes after Perkins' score, sophomore quarterback Martin Hankins connected with Hutch Gonzalez for a 35-yard score, and suddenly the Lions had taken the lead 21-17. Hankins, who completed 30 of 49 passes for 368 yards and 2 scores, found Jeffrey Howard for a 24-yard touchdown with 2:52 left in the third quarter. Hall later added field goals from 45 and 38 yards out for a 33-17 victory. Felton Huggins caught 8 passes for 131 yards, and Howard had 7 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown to lead the receiving corps.
Coach came in at halftime and told us that we need to pick it up, and I mean, we're a whole lot better football team than that. So us to come out flat like that, hitting and missing, a few mistakes, block punt, fumble, we were a better team than that, and Coach was really mad, and we had to come out and step it up in the third quarter.
They were kind of laying back, showing you zone, but they really just were playing a bunch of man coverage at about 10 yards. And so they were trying to give the appearance of taking away the deep ball, but they really weren't retreating very much, and that's why Felton was able to get behind them. Jeffrey Howard got behind them. We had several people get deep on them. We didn't always hit it, but we got deep.
The following week, it was homecoming in Strawberry Stadium, an extremely wet one. The Lions hosted Northern Colorado in a constant rain caused by Tropical Storm Matthew. With the air raid offense slowed a little bit by the weather, Southeastern's defense came to the rescue. The Lions' pass rush set a school record with 11 quarterback sacks and forced 3 turnovers. Junior linebacker Damian Huron of A-Meet recorded 6 of those sacks all by himself, enough to set a national 1AA single-game record. The Lions got on the scoreboard first with a 7-play, 84-yard drive, ending with a 19-yard scoring pass from Hankins to Felton Huggins. But the offense stalled from there, and the Bears took a 10-7 lead to the dressing room at halftime. But just like the week before, the Lions saved all of their scoring for a third-quarter blitzkrieg. On its first possession after halftime, Southeastern drove 65 yards in 6 plays. Hankins found Hutch Gonzalez for a 20-yard score to reclaim the lead 13-10, with 9:47 left in the third quarter. After Northern Colorado tied the game on a field goal with 4:11 on the clock in the third period, Southeastern went ahead for good only 2 plays later. Hankins hit a streaking Josh Taylor for an 80-yard strike and a 20-13 lead. Jim Hall added field goals of 20 and 30 yards to wrap up the scoring and sent the homecoming faithful back home wet, but happy. Despite the conditions, Hankins threw for 255 yards and 3 touchdowns. Huron's incredible total of 6 quarterback sacks earned him National Defensive Player of the Week honors from 4 different organizations.
We knew we had to get after quarterback tonight, so we worked a little bit on blitzing the outside linebackers off the end, and we just made great plays. Our secondary did a great job tonight, so I mean you can credit them all with them because I mean the quarterback he looked to step up in the pocket, he didn't have nobody to throw to, and by that time I was there.
We had good coverage on Jackson. We doubled him most of the night. I do know that. And Romilly's Mayo and Charlie Pittman and Charles Hall and Duke Adams and Burke McGee, they all, depending on which side he lined up on, they did a good job. And our outside backers, Putt and Skidmore, were involved in that a little bit when he got in the slot. But they did a good job bracketing him, and therefore the guy had to hold the ball waiting for him to get open a little more. And then, the pressure got to him, particularly in the second half.
Southeastern ran its win streak to 3 in a row the following Saturday. Against Mercyhurst, a Division II school from Erie, Pennsylvania, the Lions showed no mercy. And this time, they didn't wait until the second half to start roaring. The Lions bolted to a 23-6 halftime lead and never looked back, crushing the Lakers 58-14. After taking a 7-3 first quarter lead, the Lions increased the margin to 13-3 early in the second quarter after an 11-play, 77-yard drive. The Hankins to Huggins combo again capped the drive with a 13-yard scoring play. 2 plays later, strong safety Kent Smith picked off a Jeff Nowling pass and returned it to the Lakers 32. After a pass interference call, Shoney Francis took a 2-yard end around to pay dirt, breaking free from linebacker Brian Smith to dive into the end zone. After a Laker field goal, the Lions drove 37 yards to set up a 36-yard Jim Hall field goal just before halftime for a 23-6 cushion. In the third quarter, the Lions picked up where they left off. With 11:04 on the clock, Hankins found Huggins on a streak route for a 28-yard touchdown pass and a 36 lead. It was Huggins' third touchdown of the game and 8th of the season, both tying school records for receiving. The Lakers responded with a touchdown drive of their own to make the score 30-14, but the Lions put together a 10-play, 87-yard drive. The score came when Hankins found Byron Ross in the end zone for a 24-yard scoring strike. The point after made it 37-14 with 3:06 showing in the third quarter. If the Lions made a strong showing in the third quarter, they were flat-out merciless in the final period, scoring 3 touchdowns. For the most part, it was the Ray Perkins show. Perkins, who ran for 168 yards on the night, hauled in a 42-yard scoring pass from Hankins to up the lead to 44-14. Perkins later ran 41 yards for a score, while the second-team offense also scored a touchdown before time ran out. Final, 58-14 Lions, giving the green and gold a 5-2 record just before midseason. Hankins, the Division I AA passing leader in yards and interception ratio, threw for 431 yards and 5 touchdowns in the game. The sophomore from Hattiesburg also ranked second in the country in total offense. Hankins was recently named as one of only 16 players in the nation to the Walter Payton Player of the Year Award watch list, which goes to the top player in Division I AA. All total, the Lions piled up 685 yards of total offense and a school record 38 first downs against Mercyhurst. Heading into the final 4 games of the season, the air raid attack seemed to be hitting on all cylinders.
I mean, once the offense started clicking, I'm like, okay, I got to do something too. You know, I get a burst of energy. I feed off the offense. I feed off us. Actually, I feed off the Lions, period. But once we start making plays on offense, I'm like, okay, it's my turn to do something too.
You know, the first quarter or so, they really gave us tons of problems, and really all the way through the first 3 quarters.
Really?
Yeah, because we weren't always clean picking stuff up, and we've done a lot better job against, you know, I'm not going to say better teams, but teams that should be better, Division I teams. And they did a nice job of blitzing at the right times and checking out of blitzes when Martin checked out of plays. It was kind of a cat and mouse game for a while, and they got the best of us there for about a quarter.
A number of players deserve credit for the Lions' success at midseason, but the catalyst for a strong defensive effort has been Amite native Damian Heron. A junior linebacker who transferred from Southwest Mississippi Junior College, Heron set a national 1AA record with 6 quarterback sacks against Northern Colorado. For his efforts, Heron was named the National Defensive Player of the Week by 4 different groups: the Sports Network, College Sports Television, 1AA.org, and Don Hanson Sports Gazette. Our own Natalie Crump had a chance to sit down with Heron recently in the locker room.
It's my pleasure to have with us as a guest today in the locker room a rising star for the Southeastern Lions, Damian Heron. How you doing, Damian?
I'm doing pretty good.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, Damian, it's your first year playing for the Lions, and you've already won National Player of the Week honors. Tell me, how does that feel?
Well, you know, it's a great accomplishment. You know, being my first year on NCAA level. You know, I went to junior college for 2 years, and you know, just to come out and to get that accomplishment, you know, it's great.
You set a national 1AA record with 6 quarterback sacks in 1 game. How were you able to put so much pressure on the quarterback?
Well, you know, we went into the game with a great scheme. You know, our coaches set up the defense and prepared us great for it. And you know, I just happened to get in the backfield and was able to make some plays.
You just kind of suddenly burst into the scene. Were you holding this back the whole time, or were you just waiting for the right opportunity?
Well, every game I try to go out and play the hardest I can. You know, against Northern Colorado, I guess it was just my night.
Do you think you can follow up on that performance for the rest of the season and for next year?
Well, I mean, it could be possible. Like I say, I just try to go out and give 110% every chance I get, you know, and if it happens, it happens.
Now, since the other teams kind of already know about you now and they know how good you are, do you think they're kind of going to be gunning for you?
Well, kind of, sort of. You know, coaches are going to base their scheme around good athletes. So, you know, I mean, what makes a good athlete is, you know, when people know about you, can you still rise to the occasion? So hopefully I'll be able to rise to the occasion week in and week out.
As a pass rusher, what kind of special skills do you need to succeed?
Well, first of all, I try to get by the offensive lineman, and then if I got a back in the backfield, I think move or any kind of spin move or anything I can do to get to the quarterback.
Now, you almost wound up playing for Mississippi State. How
Great.
Well, I just decided I wanted to stay close to home. So, like the week of training camp, I called up Coach Mummy and, you know, asked him could I come down. He was like, you know, he got a scholarship waiting on me if I decide to come.
Now, speaking of playing close to home, you are from a meet.
Yeah.
Tell me, how does that feel playing for your hometown fans?
Well, you know, it's great. It's great to be back home, you know. My mom just has to come 15 minutes to where, suppose at Mississippi State, she had to drive 5 hours. So it's great. I mean, I get more people from my hometown to see me play, you know.
Be your what?
How far do you think the Lions are going to go in the next few years?
Well, you know, we got some great athletes here. I mean, along with some great coaches. So, I mean, we pretty much going to control our own destiny. We just got to get new recruits in and get them ready for the system.
Well, Damian, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Now, Mark, you know, if our defense can continue to rise to the level of our offense, we will have no problem winning the rest of our games.
Tell you what, the defense looked really impressive against Northern Colorado, especially Damon here.
Yeah, they really